is this new generation of players way too spoiled? The reason why we're making this video is because one of the pretty trendy topics in recent NBA history is the increasing number of international players coming in and dominating probably more than ever, right? If you look at the All-Star starters, for example, you have Jokic, Embiid, although he was hurt, Luka, Giannis, and SGA. Out of the 10 starters, that's 5 guys who were born outside of the US. So does that really mean that this is the top 5? 5 out of top 10 players in the league currently are outside of the US? Not necessarily, because some players who did not make the All-Star team, at least on the starter level, you can argue are better than some of the guys that started, but still, that goes to show you that international players are really making a stamp right now on the league. And Joakim Noah, so ex-NBA great, he wasn't amazing, but he was very solid with the Bulls, right? Was a guest on the Point Forward podcast, which is Andre Iguodala's podcast, and Evan Turner. And he had this to say about why the world is catching up with the NBA. So take a listen to what Joakim Noah, and then we're going to come back and react. But before I play the clip, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
But what people in the States have to realize is, I don't care where you're from, you have everything here. You got everything. You got the best facilities in the world are here. The best coaching is here. But I feel like the kids are spoiled.
Not as hungry.
Not as hungry.
As the world.
As the world. The world is hungrier. So that, to me, that's where I want to put my energy. When I'm talking to a shorty, he's not looking at me like, he's not playing no more. Like, I don't care about my Instagram's not going to be as lit as it was when I'm not trying to hear all that shit. When I'm talking to you about basketball, I want you to be 100% in it. And I have an experience in this shit. I played against the best players in the world. And if you hungry and you really want it, I want the kids out there to really have an opportunity. So that's what this league is showing these kids. They don't have to fly all the way to the States.
So there you have it. So are the players indeed spoiled? Because in this scenario, it was talking about NBA Africa and about players that literally, a lot of them come from misery. So obviously they would be hungrier than the players up here. But I feel like his point about the new NIL, which allows players to make a lot of money from a young age, still stands even against international players that comes from Europe. Because the fact that you're balling so young, like you imagine being a millionaire or a superstar, a legit superstar on campus, everybody knows your Instagram, etc. at 16, 17, 18. Like, of course, you don't want to hear the knowledge from the greats. Can't nobody tell you anything. And in Europe, people make money, right? But your friend who's already working and still living at his mama's house because he's young might be able to compete with you. So you're not already feeling like the man, and you're still willing to listen. So you'll still have that hunger, and you'll be like, yeah, if I want to be rich, I need to be great at the game. And for that, I need to study, I need to work on my craft, and I need to have that drive to be better. In the States, it's becoming a lost art nowadays. And this is kind of sad, and this is showing in the talent that's being out there in the league. Also, the approach to the game is totally different. If I look at my situation, for example, I wasn't nearly as good enough to be pro or whatever, none of that. But I did grow up in France, and I played basketball there. And if you look at the way people learn basketball overseas, the mental is always, it doesn't matter how good you are, you need to be able to showcase your talent within the compound of a collective. So since a very young age, every team is running sets and plays. And if you want to be great, and if you want to showcase that you're better than anyone else, you need to be able to have all of the skills necessary to be on the court within the collective. So obviously remembering plays from a young age, communication with your teammates, listening to the coaches, playing both sides of the ball, on and off ball offense and defense, all that stuff you need to be able to build. So therefore, your overall IQ will be higher because you've been trained to think a certain way, and you have some level of study and some principles, fundamentals that are shared from the coaches, right, from a young age. If you look at the players from the US, if you look at the young guys that are there, the whole approach is, let's showcase the best talent We're gonna develop individually the biggest talents, and then we're gonna figure out once they make it to the league, all right, what can we teach these guys to actually learn to play basketball with others? So you'll have a lot of guys who are amazingly skilled because, yeah, the skill set level is at an all-time high. But IQ-wise, it feels like they don't know how to do anything. If they don't have the ball, they'll just stand there. They don't know what to do. On defense, they barely communicate. They barely know any defensive principles. They'll give middle. They'll give baseline every time. Like they won't even know simple stuff like, okay, the guy is obviously limited on going left, so let me send him left. They won't even do that stuff, the new players. And it's kind of crazy. But everyone has a J. Everybody has a handle and everything. So there's a good and a bad side to it. But overall, when you really want to be a great, you need to be smarter than everybody else. If you look at all of the greats in the league, and the top 5 players that I listed were NBA All-Star starters for the year, they are outsmarting everybody else in some kind of way. Jokic, obviously, if you see the way he controls the game, he's able to control the tempo, pass, make the reads. Like, the guy is just a genius out there. The same can be said about Luka. Embiid, the way he's able to read defenses to actually know, okay, let me catch the ball in the mid post and let me simplify the game. So pretty much I got my pump fake, but people are scared to contest the shots because they know that I can draw a foul. So they'll give me that little midi that's cash every time. If you jump, I'm fast enough to face up and draw past you. Like, he put the time to study the game and do that. The foul baiting too. We hate it, most of the people, but still, you have to be super smart to do that. Giannis, he found some way to go around the wall pretty much. SGA, his case is a little bit different because he did not learn the game in Europe, but still, if you see the way he simplified his offense, the guy is a genius. It's a lot of studying that goes into that. Even the past great American players, the LeBron James of the world, the Kobe's of the world, these guys were geniuses about the game. And this is kind of becoming a lost art, which is a shame, and this is affecting the product. Now, the part that Joakim Noah did not say, though, is that we still have to keep in mind that the foreign players that the NBA are getting are the crop of the crop. So let's not forget the fact that a lot of guys who do not have that drive, that hunger, that super high IQ from overseas, it's a bunch of them too. They just won't make it to the big screen because obviously they can't make it into the league because they're not good enough. So I don't think overall that the world is catching up as fast as it's looking. Although when we look at the worldwide competition, they definitely put up a better fight than usual. But the US still has the edge right now. But they need to be careful, especially developing a league in NBA in Africa. The talent, the raw talent that's out there in Africa, at least on an athletic level, they can compete with the Americans. The only problem for them is that they didn't have the structure. And if you look at the Europeans, most of them, they'll be amazing, great basketball players, but the athletics, the genetics that they have is just not on par with the Americans. So the Americans will always have the edge. But do you imagine a bunch of, I don't know, Giannis Antetokounmpos, Embiid's, Pascal Siakam's, that are running around in Africa right now, if they get the proper information, the proper formation, the proper infrastructures, and now they get sent into the league, yeah, these guys might be able to take over. It's going to be a lot of new players outside of America just because they're more humble. They're coming from nothing. So all that, yeah, I'm trying to be a star, I'm trying to be cool on the court, all that stuff, yeah, all that running from teams, they don't do that. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get my bag because this is literally, I come from nothing. I need to change my life. They are way more hungry than the people up here. So, yeah, so if the U.S. is not careful and they do not kind of raise the bar again compared to back in the days, the world is going to catch up for good. The world is definitely going to catch up for good. One last point that I want to make before I get out of here in why new players especially kind of lack the IQ and that drive to study the game is because a lot of players now do not go to college. Because all that stuff that I said about, American players and AAU system, not really focusing like that on the skills and learning to be great within a collective. When you go to college, then you actually see a lot of great coaching, a lot of sets and players. The stats don't look as crazy because you have to play within the collective. So if you look at the older generation, when everyone was forced to go to college for at least a year before making it into the league, then all these guys tend to be smarter. Their skills individually weren't as crazy walking straight into the league. But then when you already have that work ethic, that discipline, and that humbleness to yourself, but you understand the game, then you can be like, okay, let me put in the extra hours while I'm in the league, while I have greater facilities and everything. And now my new skill set that I've developed maybe later, but still I do develop, coupled with my understanding of the game, I can become an all-time great and dominate for longer than these guys who, it feels like now, a lot of players, they're just out there in the league like, okay, let me get my shots off. I'll develop a three-point shot because I need that to be on the court, and that's it. And then I'll be a 3-and-D guy. I don't care about understanding the game. I don't care about building anything. I don't care about adding stuff in the off seasons. I'll just be in the game. And yeah, that is watering down the NBA overall as a product and putting the league in jeopardy of being caught up by the world when it comes to the amount of international players that come and dominate. So yeah. Anyways, these are my thoughts about this whole thing. If you made it this far, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and more importantly, get in that comment section and give me your thoughts. Do you agree with Joakim Noah? What do you think the American players are lacking? And yeah, catch you guys later. Peace.